seemed only fitting that I do a video on this book. This is a new copy of this book for me. I think I haven't seen it in 20 years. But I got it whenever, January 95 or December 9, whenever it came out. I got it. And I remember my uncle got it for me. I think it's like a $30 book. No, excuse me. It's a $13 book. I say it was 30 because I remember remember the Marvel Comics superhero poster with every character on it, like 400 characters. That was $30. And I think my uncle said to me, you can either get this or that. And I knew that there was big money in this. There was more knowledge to be had in this. But what's interesting about this is that it was, I don't know how many of these big annuals they did, but it was basically, it's a Beckett. It's like, I don't know anything about baseball cards, but I do remember my dad trying to explain them to me and not caring. And I remember the Beckett that we bought at like Walden Books, and I was like, okay, Beckett. But this I understood. This was much easier and for me to understand. But the reason I want to show it is because there's all this stuff in it. It's like this book was how I met comics. So there's a lot of interesting examples. Like I saw all this stuff for the first time in this book when I got it. So anyway, I found this book. I found a copy of this book for $5 in my internet honey hole, and I couldn't say no. And when I got it, I wasn't even mad at it. It was completely disgusting. You can't see, and it strategically placed in the glare is a horrible stain. $5 worth every penny of the nostalgia just to show it off. So we got this. What's going on here? This is Bart Sears Valiant. I like Jim Shooter era Valiant. The Sears era Valiant, Turok doesn't do much for me. This is the Yellow Kid. Not the first time I'd see the Yellow Kid, but these Golden Age books for sure. Mile High. Okay. The binding is like super, like it's not bound the same way that the Wizard magazines were. Isn't there? Yeah, here's the ad for Metropolis. Here's some facts about. Excuse me. Some facts about Metropolis. Still in business, and actually the preferred dealer of a good friend of mine. Here's Wizard patting themselves on the back. And here begins the 1995 Price Guide Annual. There's all these different features that basically, all this artwork for all this stuff. All right, so what is this? This is some publisher that never got off the ground, but they got Bart Sears for some trading cards. Okay. Fudang. This is like so oddly, it's like Doink the Clown, right? Okay, cool. Oddly familiar. All right. Introduction. Who wrote this? Richard Warren, some guy. I don't know. Okay, these are the top valuable comics. This was good info for me when I was a boy. I was definitely seeing all these books for the first time, and to understand this is new fun, and I think this is like it's like the first book that's not like a comic strip reprint book. I found this interesting because it was like the one book that obviously wasn't like a Marvel or DC kind of thing. Okay, here's the history of Hot. Here's some fun little like weird low-res illustrations that they got to fit in here. Eli, which Turtles are is this? No, not AC Freely. I'm gonna remember. Don't tell me. Maybe it is AC Freely. Or whatever his name is. AC Freely. God. This I remember seeing this and not knowing what it was. Now I know what it is. Don't worry. This is just like what's hot now. Shadow Man, I suppose. Billy Tushy's She. Still hot in some circles, so I hear. Here's Vampirella in her 90s aviator jacket. Oh, this was valuable information. All these publishers, many of them defunct at this point. start getting a sense of how licensing it worked historically, and then, you know, the stat nerd ate this up. It's great. This is Chazarai. Great. Key events in comics history. Okay, let's see. What the first one is the forerunners of comic books. Comic strips and pulp magazines get their start. 1896, The Yellow Kid. Okay, great. 14 years later, Mutt and Jeff. 1994, DC undertakes a major revision of its universe with Zero Hour. 54, Seduction of the Innocent. Okay, so this is good info for me as a boy. And then, of course, I ate this up. But I was even more excited because I probably owned... I had this book, and I'm sure I had this book. But all this gimmick stuff, we loved it. We thought it was great. All the foil books, I would sift through all the books and just like lay out the foil books and bask in them. Be like, each of these books is worth at least $8. They're still worth at least $8. This is cool because it talks about the indicia. Oh, the distribution stripe. Oh, interesting. I'll have to read what this is about, but I'm sure that's good information for me. Your Spawn getting some shine. This is telling you how to grade your books. I don't care about this. Anyway, this is the 1995 Wizard Price Guide Annual. And like on every page, it's like, oh, this is a book that became one of my favorite books. Blah, blah, blah. And then I'm seeing all these books for the first time in here. Like, this is a book I would later get my hands on. This is a book I would later get my hands on. I'd read this one, all this stuff. So it was very valuable. What else? What was really cool about this? After the price guide, there was just like, here's every Image comic that's been published in the last 2.5 years. So that was very valuable for me. That was definitely the first time I ever like heard of or saw probably any of these characters. Because when I would go to a comic store when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, I was really just looking for X-Men stuff. That's my memory, my feeling. I had an art teacher who had a bunch of these books. Like, she would go to the comic store and be like, all right, what should I grab that will like grab them? And she had this book. So I read this book many, many times as a boy. And it left a very big impression on me. This is a fantastic comic book. Though it disturbs me that in the comic book, Cerebus is colored brown instead of with screen tone. It's really kind of strange. He is colored thusly in his Epic Comics short appearances. But I think whoever was coloring the Spawn issue wasn't really... They weren't thinking it through that far. Okay, great. So all this stuff, look at this, all these Vampirella books from Harris. This one where this gargoyle is spitting blood all over her chin and neck is left an impression on me as a boy. That's really, I can't believe they published that. That's crazy. Dark Horse, all the licensed stuff. So yeah. Concrete, this would definitely be the first time I would see Concrete. This book is awesome. I have a bunch of these Concrete books. Here's some of comics' greatest world. I had one of these. Which one? Into the Void. Where is it? I had this one, Wolfgang. This was a Barbed Wire spinoff, I think. Truly awful. This would be definitely the first time I ever saw Sin City. And Hellboy. But I don't think that like this or this, which became like my favorite books later on, I don't think it left that big of an impression on me as well. I think it was mostly just confused. Like, I remember this image, I remember thinking this image was like some kind of like Hellraiser type deal. The Mask I knew. So it was cool to sort of get like behind the scenes on The Mask and to understand that, like, before the movie, it was all these crazy Bug Monkey comics. And here's Sin City. Out of the Vortex. This is the one I had. Like, it's very weird. Valiant. So man, I should talk about Valiant in a series of videos. I made fun of Valiant for like, what, 20 years? Until I finally read their books. I had the opportunity when I was a retailer. And so I read not only the relaunched books, which some of them were very, very good, but I read like all of the old ones in order. So I got the real as Jim Shooter intended it dose of Valiant comics. And for what it was very good. And then as soon as Shooter leaves, it dips in quality. And then Bob, I can't remember, I'm so old I can't remember his name. Yeah, the Iron Man artist, that guy, Bob Layton. Yeah, when he leaves, by the time Bob Layton leaves, it's not worth reading anymore. I don't even know. We just look at the pictures. Anyway, I have an entire short box of Valiant comics. What I should do is I should do a checklist. That's what I should do. I should do a checklist of all the books that I have. I have a pretty solid run on most of these titles. The first dozen to 2 dozen issues, if I'm being honest. Like crazy. Like no one needs as many Valiant comics as I have. When Valiant is working, it works really, really well, and it can go like toe to toe with Marvel and DC in terms of like superhero shared universe excitement. But when it doesn't work, it doesn't work at all. When Marvel and DC doesn't work, it has the benefit of the doubt of being like, oh, Batman's somewhere in the background of this universe, so you never know you get a Batman cameo. But Valiant does not necessarily have that. It seems like Valiant's go on the resurgence. I'd love to talk more about Valiant in future videos. Anyway, I made fun of them for 20 years, and then I ate crow, which is a great feeling to have when you're consuming media. Here's a page for Bongo comics. I never read any Bongo comics. I like The Simpsons. Not this much. Although these like Radioactive Man ones look kind of cool, like Alan Moore 1963 type stuff. What's this? Malibu. I had a couple of Malibu books. What's this? Breed. Jim Starlin. More Jim Starlin. Huh. If you're a big Jim Starlin fan, you let me know what you like about his stuff. I've read quite a bit of it. I enjoy the pop psychology, psychedelia 101 of Warlock. But I read some other stuff. I read some Batman stuff. Gilgamesh too. That wouldn't make any sense. So if you're a Starlin devotee, I'd like to know what exactly excites you beyond the obvious of this like demonstrably talented auteur guy. I'd like to know exactly what gets you excited. Look at this. I wish we could get hologram covers like this. This is worth buying because it's a gimmick worth gimmicking, I think. All right, let's see which of these Malibu characters I can remember a damn thing about. Let's see. This one is called Elvin. I can't read. Elvin. And one of my students actually liked it. Let's see. Where's Sludge? Sludge and Prime. That's what I'm here for. Here's Hardcase. This is drawn by Dave Gibbons. That's what I know. Oh, Lord Pumpkin. I'm surprised I didn't catch on. Mantra. This is like I don't know if they were intending to do like trans themes in here, or if this has been picked up as a like trans icon, but absolutely the book called Mantra about the beautiful 90s bad girl superhero who is in fact in some way a man should like comics trans community get on this one. Malibu Comics has gotcha. Forget Neil Gaiman. Here's the real superheroics and representation for you. Terrific. Here's Howard Chaykin with his book for Malibu. Yeah, the holograms are cool, man. I don't know. Prime. Okay, I had Prime #1. It's like Shazam, except he's physically trapped inside the body. and at the end he has to punch himself out and he pukes up all the guy's bullet-riddled guts. It's pretty disgusting. He gets shot like 200 times and then his body dies, but the child cocooned inside of his body has to free itself. It is, it's like it's like Cronenberg meets Billy Batson. So, like, you know, that's, I don't know, less said. Okay. Rune. Barry Smith. I've got a bunch of these runes. I haven't tried reading them. Did Barry write these? Let me know in the comments, friends. Rune. I like Rune. Rune has no jaw. This is such a... Man, this is like almost... It's like quintessential Barry Smith. After reading Monsters, it's like... I should be reading this. Monsters was crazy. Did you read Monsters? Let me know. Here's Sludge. Which issue is Sludge did I have? It might have been this one. Yeah. I remember Sludge was upset because he was a sludge monster. He could not smoke. I think Sludge might have been Steve Gerber. Does that make sense? Yeah, sure. Let me. You'll tell me. Anyway, yeah, it was a real fun dive back into and that there you go. And coming in November '95, the second Vizard comic book. So if this was November '94, let's see. That really means I was only reading comics in earnest for like 18 months, if that long. Well, I'm glad that I was able to go through this document because now I can throw this book away. I've absolutely, or I can put it in the free little library. I'm sure that one of the many nerds in my neighborhood will take it. Anyway, like Von Bodie, I'm a Cheech wizard, never quitting. So won't you listen? Semper Comics. Good day.